Yo, RX back with another breakdown of UFC 304 Aspinall versus Blades 2. We back with another breakdown of a very subpar pay-per-view. The main card is decent. One or two prelims are good. But yeah, there's a lot of bad fights on this card. And, yeah, it's not great. It's not great. I feel like we're back in London, which usually brings us a good card, but that's not what we have here. Like, that actually feels like some of the fight nights have been as good, if not better than this. So, couple, like I said, what you see right here, all good fights, all 5 of them. But when you look deep into the prelims, A, you see a fight that shouldn't even be there and you don't know which one, and B, you see a bunch of fights that are just A, pointless, or B, garbage. So, I don't know, it's a card, it's a pay-per-view. I don't think this is going to be as good as International Fight Week or 300 or even 299. Like, this will probably be on the level of 301, and I don't want to say 302 because that card was a fucking disgrace to MMA, but more probably like 297. It'll probably be a card. Not good, but it happened. So hopefully we get some good moments on it with what we have right here. At the end of the card, hopefully there's some good shit that happens there. But first we gotta talk about the beginning. So before I get into that, I want to say please like, comment, and subscribe. 100 subs goal by the end of the year. Thank you for getting me up to 58. Thank you all for that. A new milestone. Hey, can we get 60? I know that's a lot to ask for. Can I get 2 more before the recap? Or even, like, if I could end the weekend with 60, that'd be pretty fucking cool. So, if not, cool. I'm happy with 58. I'll always be grateful no matter what the number is. So, thank you. And, trying to think if there's anything else to say. I did the normal like, comment bullshit. Talk about subscriber milestones, so. Not very much else I can think to say besides, you want to break down a very weak pay-per-view in London? Let's do it. So, let's get right into it. How many fights in total? I believe 13. Yes, 13 fights in total. And we begin on the early prelims with a fight. A short notice replacement. There was only 3 of those on this card, thankfully, but still. For our first fight of the night in the women's strawweight division, as we have a true banger between Shauna Mama B. Bannon versus Alice Ardelean. It's a fight. Ardelean is stepping in for Ravenna Oliveira, who pulled out about a week ago, I believe, a week or 2 ago. So, yeah, short notice replacement. A step up, most likely, from Oliveira. So, fight got a little tougher for Shauna, but we'll see if she will get the win. So, let's start the breakdown with Shauna Bannon. Oh boy. Shauna in the UFC is 0-1 in her UFC debut. She lost to Bruna Brasil in a fight. She looked terrible. Brasil was levels above of her. And that's why she got, I believe, 30-27. Like, she looked terrible. She looked really, really bad. And it's understandable. Bruna Brasil is a tough debut. Excuse me. Bruna Brasil is a tough debut. Good young fighter, so it makes sense. But Shauna didn't even look good. She didn't really show anything to be impressed by. Shauna's just not a good fighter, to be honest. Like, yeah, she had a nice 5-0 record on the UFC, but her best win was 3-0. So, or I guess 6-4, whichever one you want to go with. So, She is 30 years old. She's inexperienced. She's not very good. I've never heard of this fucking gym in my life. Oh, okay. At least she's trained by a former fighter. Too bad a former fighter most people don't even know. Yeah. Shauna's not very good. Her footwork is her main thing. She has footwork. Her striking is a thing. Her ground game is a thing. She's just not good. From what I've seen, and from which was her debut, I've just not seen. I was not impressed. I was not disappointed because I didn't expect much. And I expected nothing, and I was not even disappointed because I got nothing. I got a shitty performance from someone who was she the favorite? Nah, she's an underdog. Yeah, she's not good. She's really not good. And she's lucky they're giving her. Well, they tried to give her a fucking layup in Oliveira, and that now turned into Ardelean. So let's see how she does against a ginormous step-down competition and short notice one at that. So let's see how she opens the night. Hope maybe she'll get her first UFC win. But her opponent and the person who's gonna try and stop that from happening is Alice Ardelean. Alice Ardelean, however you want to fucking say it. Obviously, this is Ardelean's UFC debut. She's, like I said, stepping in on short notice. Not really heard much about her before this. Not really heard much since this fight was booked. The little I've heard is really just stupid shit. She's another one of those OnlyFans clowns who probably have no talent. Hannah Goldie, Rachel Ostovich, Paige Van Zandt, etc., etc. So that's already a bad sign. She's on a 5-fight winning streak, but against who? 3-0, 3-4, 0-1, 2-0, 0-3. So I get there's a giant fucking thing sticking out here, which is she fought Weili, which okay, losing to Weili, you made it to round 2 somehow. Okay, that's cool. That's a fine loss, and for that to be her last loss, and then to go on a 5-fight winning streak since, cool. I've not heard much. Again, outside the cage, OnlyFans clown. Inside the cage, I heard she actually has some power in her hands, which is kind of interesting. She has power. She's a heavy striker. So from what I heard, this fight's gonna be footwork versus like power. So 4 KOs, yeah. 32 years old, short notice debut. Again, won 5 in a row, 7 if you want to count whatever the fuck these are. So, yeah, and she's not really been the most active. 2017, 2019, 2021, 2, 3. So she's almost been off for a year since her last fight. So we'll see. We'll see if she has any talent. Like I said, really don't know much about her. I've never seen her fight a day in my life. I've never seen a fucking clip of her fighting. So Saturday night will be the first time I ever see her fucking walk in a cage. So we'll see what happens. Definitely not the worst fighter stepping on short notice against Shauna Bannon. That's not that bad. She has the experience advantage, 9-5, 5-1. We'll see what happens, man. We'll see what happens. The betting odds for this fight have Shauna Bannon at -220 to +185. Or +180, my bad. Shauna Bannon at -220 is fucking gross. Like, I get she probably should win, but should Shauna Bannon ever be -220? No. No, I don't know who. Maybe against Ravenna Oliveira. Okay, against Ravenna, sure, I'll give you a pass there. I could see a debate there. I'm trying to think who else is there even at strawweight who's that bad. Like strawweight, mostly has talent, so it's kind of hard to think about who sucks at strawweight. Yeah, I can't really think many people Shauna should be -220 against. Like, should she be 220 here? Probably not. She's taller. She has the ginormous reach and height advantage. Fucking 3 inches or 2 inches in height, 4 inches in reach. 2 years younger. It's a low level fight. an extremely low level fight. This probably should be happening on like the prelims of the local Invicta card. But maybe one of these two will actually show something in this fight. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Who is my pick gonna be? I'll dance with the devil I know, and that'll be Shauna Bannon. I know her game more. I've seen her fight more. She's not stepping in on short notice. She's not gonna have the debut jitters. I'm gonna go Shauna. I think she'll get her first UFC win here against someone who's stepping in on short notice, does not seem to be taking MMA seriously if you're doing that OnlyFans garbage. So, yeah, give me Shauna Bannon by decision, of course. This is gonna go to decision, no doubt. Like, maybe Ardelean gets like a finish. Again, I did hear she had power in her hands, but outside of that, which I don't think Shauna's going to, unless Shauna gets clipped, I don't think she's gonna go fire for fire against Elliott. I don't think she's stupid. So I think Shauna will just be probably the better fighter on the feet, and will probably get the win here. So give me Shauna Bannon by decision. Low level MMA at its finest. After that, we head to our second fight of the night in the heavyweight division. A fight a little bit better than the first one, but still not very high level, actually extremely low level. But it's a still low level fight, but it's a ginormous step up from fucking Bannon and Ardelean or whatever. So, but what isn't? What the fuck could be a step down from that? So, I don't know. But let's get into our second fight of the night in a heavyweight division, a division that's having a really important night on this card, as we have Mick Parkin versus Łukasz the Bull Brzeski. Yeah, not the best fight in the world, but I don't know. It's the kind of theme for this card. Either it's a fight where you're just like, eh, or it's a terrible fight. So this is just, especially for these prelims, it's like, do you want something fucking scary? Because this is one of the better prelims on the card. Like, this is one of the best prelims. Like, and there are 9 prelims. This is probably one of the better ones. So, let that sink in. But, yeah, enough rambling. Let's get into it. And let's begin this fight with Mick Parkin. Mick in the UFC is 3-0, coming off Contender Series, where he did get a submission the last time we saw him get a finish, because ever since he's had 3 decisions, beating Jamal Pogues, Kyle Machado, and Mohamed Usman. I've not been impressed with Parkin. Yeah, he's won his fights. He beat Jamal Pogues in a boring fight. He beat Kyle Machado in a fight where I believe he looked shitty in, because I believe that was Machado's UFC debut, right? Because I remember him actually looking weirdly, like, not terrible in that fight. So, yeah, and then he beat Mohamed Usman, where he actually, like, yeah, he clearly won, but at the same time, A, it's Mohamed Usman. You should be beating Mohamed Usman. And B, Usman didn't look awful. And he's lucky Mohamed Usman has 0 fight IQ. So, yeah, if Usman fought with any fucking fight, with any ability, he would have fucking maybe done better, maybe a 1, so. But, yeah, like, Parkin's just, he's fought cans, and this is another, he's just fought cans, and he's not really looked impressive in any of them. Like, one of your best performances is a pretty, I don't know, like, clear-cut win against Jamal Pogues. It's like, eh. Like, because ever since that fight, which was in London, he's looked mid. He's looked very mid against the lesser competition than fucking Jamal Pogues. So, like, I get the UFC building him up slowly, but at heavyweight, we need talent immediately, and this guy ain't it. Like, there's no point of building this guy up. He's not that good. He loses to probably a bunch of the dudes in the top 15, so I don't know. I don't see the hype with Parkin. He's a fine fighter. For heavyweight standards, he's a fine fighter. And actually, I'm just thinking about it. Everything I'm saying here is kind of gonna sound stupid as fuck after I say a certain thing at the end of this fight. So, yeah, Like, in Mick Parkin, I get he trains with Aspinall, yada yada yada. He ain't fucking 10% of Aspinall. Like, he literally is not. He's not 10% of Tom Aspinall. Like, he's a striker. He's a pretty subpar striker. And his cardio, and his ground game's okay. So, actually okay might be being too nice. His ground game is... He has a ground game, I guess. So, yeah. Not much else to say. This Mick Parkin, dude, it's... He's a fighter. Good? No. But a fighter. Talk about his opponent, Łukasz Brzeski. Łukasz in the UFC is 1-3. Coming out of Contender Series where some shit happened. In his first 3 UFC fights, he got... Well, actually, he's 2-2 in the UFC. He beat Martin Buday and Walter Walker. And then he lost to Carl Williams and Waldo Cortez Acosta. Yeah, Brzeski's not a good fighter. He's actually terrible. Like, yeah, he beat Martin Buday. It's Martin Buday. Yeah, Carl Williams destroyed him, as he should have. Yeah, Waldo Cortez Acosta flatlined him, as he should have. And then Walter Walker. Yeah, I get Brzeski did finally get a win officially, but whatever. I don't count robberies, so he's his second UFC win. Yeah, he beat Walter Walker, who is one of the worst fighters I've ever fucking seen. Like, in one of the worst fights I've seen this year. Like, that was one of the sloppiest, shittiest fights I've ever fucking watched. It was one of the lowest level fights I've ever fucking seen, so... I don't know, I'm not impressed with Brzeski. I don't know how anyone could be. He's not good. He's fucking terrible. Like, funny, he's a terrible fighter. Yeah, you can beat Walter Walker and Martin Buday, but... Like, if he fights anyone with the smallest amount of potential, he loses. And fucking Carl Williams, Waldo don't even have that much fucking potential, so... When actually, I'm just looking at his fucking fights, UFC's giving him all the prospects. Like, literally every fucking prospect. So, he finally beat one after beating Buday. Took him a while, but, you know, shit. Gotta win. So... Yeah, and I don't know what to say about Brzeski. He's a slow fighter. His striking is not very good. He's not good. It's simple as that. He's not fucking good. He's barely a heavyweight. Like, he could either be a light heavyweight. He's not fat. Like, he's like maybe the rare heavyweight who's actually just not fat. He's just a dude who's like, he was, how much does he actually fucking weigh? Yeah, 236. He could easily be a light heavyweight. Like, he's probably one of the lightest heavyweights on the roster, if not maybe the lightest. He's just a dude who's has a little weight on him. He could, again, easily be a fucking light heavyweight, so, yeah. The betting odds for his fight have Mick Parkin minus 210 to plus 175. I'd have Parkin minus 300, if not higher. He should win this easily, to the point to where... God, I can't believe I'm fucking saying this. Mick Parkin is my lock of the night. Yeah, this card's not great for those. He should win easily. Like, this is the UFC's giving him a layup at home in London. Same card as Aspinall. This is a layup for him. This is actually fucking probably easier than fucking the Usman fight. I thought that was a harder fight. Well, yeah. I don't know, like, this just falls in the category of them giving him a layup. So, he should win this fight pretty soundly. He's the way better fighter. On the feet, he's way better. If it hits the ground, I think he has the advantage. I really don't see him losing this fight. I'd be kind of shocked if he did. He's the better fighter. I really can't put it any other way, so... Give me Mick Parkin by decision, my lock of the night. I just don't see him losing. I really don't see how he would even lose. Do I think Brzeski's gonna beat him on the feet for 15 minutes? No. Do I think Brzeski's gonna finish him? Fuck no. Do I think he's gonna fucking submit him? No. It's gonna be a Mick Parkin probably a shitty, boring, slow fight like the Jamal Pogues fight. So, give me Mick Parkin by decision. Just, nah. It's a fight. It's a fucking showcase fight for Parkin. Good for him. After that, we had to our third fight of the night in the welterweight division. A super low level fight. That kind of the theme for this card. As in our third fight of the night in the welterweight division, we have Sam the Future Patterson versus Kiefer BDK Crosbie. It's one of the fights ever, and that's about it. Let's talk about Sam Patterson. Fucking the giraffe himself. Patterson in the UFC is 1-1 coming off Contender Series where he got a contract for really no reason. He did not look impressive, and that statement followed suit into his UFC debut where Ash moves almost fucking killed him in under a minute. Well, under a minute and a half, my bad. Yeah, that fight proved my point that Patterson's not UFC level. He's not good. Like, he's fucking terrible. And then he comes back a year later and beats Johan Lainus. Yeah, that's a win against one of the worst welterweights on the roster. Like, I'll give him this. I'm happy. Was he fighting at welterweight before? I think that's why it's at lightweight. I'm happy he moved up to welterweight. I'll give him that much. That was genius. Like, that was fucking smart. He's not a fucking middleweight. Or a lightweight, I mean. Like, he needed to move up to welterweight, and he did. I'll give him that much. And then they gave him one of the easiest matchups on a roster, and he looked fine. Got a win in 2 minutes. Good for him. And as an underdog, which I predict him to win, good win. Now they're giving him somehow an even easier fight than Johan Lainus, which is a fucking miracle. And we'll see how he does here. Is Patterson, like, the only thing you can say about Patterson nice is that he's young still. He's 28 years old. He's getting better, maybe. Like, again, the move up to welterweight, genius. Should have already been there. Besides that, I'm not, like, he got a submission in his last fight, which one is, actually, he's more of a submission guy. He's not very good. His striking kind of sucks. His chin's non-existent. He has a ground game. Pretty much what I've been saying for a lot of fighters on this card. It's just not great. He's a fighter. Like, he's not gonna do anything fucking crazy. Yeah, he can strike, I guess. He can grapple, I guess. He's just not good at anything. I think he kind of uses his reach and height and all that to his advantage, but I don't really remember. I'm not really remembering the small details of a Sam Patterson fight, let alone his last two fights have went, about 3 minutes? So, yeah. He's not that great. He got signed because he's a British dude. The UFC loves getting those guys in, fucking giving them a shot, see if they're the next fucking Michael Bisping, etc., etc., and he's not one of those guys. He's terrible. So sometimes, very rarely, that has worked. Bisping, Aspinall, but then you get Darren Till and Paddy Pimblett. So Sam Peterson is in the latter of that. So he's just not very good. Not very good. Speaking of not very good, and maybe even worse, Kiefer Crosbie. I really don't know what to say. Kiefer in the UFC is 0-1. In the UFC debut, he got submitted by Kevin Jousset. I barely remember that fight. I remember the finish. That's about it. That's not a bad loss. Kevin Jousset's a really good prospect. Him and Brian Battle's a fucking amazing fight. Jousset's a good prospect. I remember nothing about that fight. I really don't. I think Crosbie was looking okay. I think it was kind of a close fight until the submission. But I say that with heavy doubt. He's not good. This fucking Kiefer Crosbie dude, it's not good. Like, his record's not even... He lost to Mike Jackson. Is that Mike Jackson? No, but still, not much better. You got fucking DQ'd, you dumb fuck. Yeah, this dude's terrible. And this dude will probably be cut pretty soon. Wait, is that Alex Oliveira? Holy shit. Okay. Well, at least you beat a UFC fighter. You beat Alex Oliveira. Too bad it was Alex Oliveira 7 years past his fucking prime, so... Yeah, Crosby's a terrible fighter. He'll probably be cut before year's end, if not even after this fight, so... And he's 34 years old. They love these SBG fighters, too bad. Outside of Connor, have any of them been good? Brad Katona does not count, because... Actually, Brad Katona does count, and then even if he... And since he does, he's still not good, so... Yeah, Kiefer Crosby... Not good. The Bangouts first fight have Sam Peterson minus 350 to plus 275. Yeah, I doubt I disagree. I wouldn't have him any higher of a favorite. I might even bring him... No, yeah, I like 350 and more thing about for this. He should win easily. Patterson, he should win pretty easily. He's the better fighter. He's much bigger. 6'3 to 5'11 is insane. An 8-inch reach advantage. He should win this pretty easily. Just use your range. Fucking, like, the only way Patterson loses this is if he gets knocked out, which I think he's learned from his mistakes and that won't happen. Let alone, I don't think Kiefer has the power of, you know, Ash moves. So, this should be a pretty easy night for Patterson. So, give me Sam Patterson by decision. He should win this fight. Again, I think he's just the better fighter. I don't think it's much more complicated than that. The better fighter should win, and that'll be Sam Patterson. So give me Sam Patterson by decision in a probably pretty boring fight. Maybe you'll get a finish. I wouldn't be too shocked if we got like a submission, but I'm gonna go Patterson by decision. After that, yeah, you want to go back to the beginning of the video when I said there was a fight that shouldn't be here? That's this fight. Because how the fuck is this on the early prelims unless this was UFC 300, which it ain't. I don't even know what to say about this. What the fuck's the UFC doing? I am speechless. I'm still like this. They put this here 2 days ago, and I still don't know how to fucking feel about this because it's the most ass backwards stupid shit ever. I don't know what to say. I truly don't. But at least we had a banger early on the card, as in our fourth fight of the night in the flyweight division. We have Muhammad the Punisher Mokaev versus Manel Starboy Kape. How the fuck do you read this fight knowing these two fighters and say early prelims? Huh? Again, unless fucking Yuri Prochazka, fucking Charles Oliveira, fucking Manon Fierro, fucking all these fucking top tier fighters are on these prelims like it's 300, but it's not 300. How is this down here? This should be on the main card. This should be fucking right here on the main card. No offense to this fight's fucking great, but this should be the featured prelim. This should be on the main card. Like, this fight's super important between two really good fighters. Like, the winner here could get a title shot. They shouldn't. They could. And it's on the early prelims. Wow. Fucking bullshit. But enough about that. Let's talk about these two fighters. Not like I need to really tell you about these two, but I still will a little bit. So let's begin with Muhammad Mokaev. Mokaev in the UFC is already 6-0. His wins are Cody Durden, Malcolm Gordon, Rafael Filho, Tim Elliott, and Alex Perez. Yeah, the bad thing about those 6 wins, he's looked shit in 5 of them. Outside of the Cody Durden fight, he's looked terrible in the UFC. Charles Johnson gave him a tough fight. Malcolm Gordon gave him a tough fight. Rafael Filho pretty much should have beat him. Tim Elliott was up 2-0 in the third. Alex Perez, a lot of people think he lost that fight. I've never seen a fighter look so bad in fights and be on a fucking winning streak. Like, a winning streak of looking ass. Like, how the fuck has he won half of these fights? Like, they're against good fighters. Filho, Charles Johnson, Tim Elliott, Alex Perez. Yeah, those are some nice fighters to beat, but it's actually the Perez one's actually funny to look back on now, with Tatsuro Taira looking 100 times better. But Tatsuro Taira is way better than Mokaev. So. And Charles Johnson probably beats Mokaev in a rematch. Fucking tell me that's a hot take. It's not. So, and then against like fucking Malcolm Gordon almost beat him. Like had him in an armbar or some shit. It's like Mokaev has all the talent. Yeah, and I get we're holding this guy to high regard, but because he is that good. Yes, he's only 23 years old, but again, he is that good. He is good enough to be a champion right now. He's just not fucking shown it. He has no fucking striking. His takedown entries are fucking god-awful half the time. Look at the Alex Perez fight. His takedowns are falling to his fucking knees, and that's it. Like, he's the best... He's the best, worst looking fighter maybe ever, if that makes sense. He has all the skill, but he somehow looks so ass every fight. It's a miracle. It's a miracle he's 6-0. It's truly with how shit he's been. So, but the UFC's finally giving him a real test. On paper, shouldn't be a fucking... It shouldn't be his 10th test by now, because all of these were fucking tests. Because he somehow looked awful. So, but the UFC's giving this kid a test. Sink or swim, bro. Sink or swim. To be honest, it's not even sink or swim, because if he loses, is it the end of the world for Mokaev? No, the kid's 24 years old. Yeah, people will shit on him, call him a fraud, blah blah blah. But even if he lost, it wouldn't be a big deal. He lost to Manel Kape. If you lost to Tim Elliott or fucking Rafael Filho, okay. But yeah, if you get beat by Manel Kape, it's understandable. So let's see. This will really say a lot about Mokaev's talent right now. See how good the kid really is, because going off these performances, he kind of sucks. He falls ass backwards into most of his wins. It's actually fucking hilarious. To talk about his opponent, Manel Kape. Kape in the UFC is 4-2. His 4 wins are Ode Osborne, Zhugas Zumagulov, David Dvorak, and Felipe dos Santos. His 2 losses are Alexander Pantoja and Mateus Nicolau. Kape, I said Mokaev falls ass backwards in the wins. Kape falls ass backwards out of fights. He's had all these fights cancelled, and most of them are because of him. 1. Okay, so 1 wasn't because of him, 2 wasn't because of him, 3 wasn't because of him, 4 wasn't because of him, that one was, and that one was. So 3 and 3, good job, dickhead. Or no, my bad, 3 and 4, right? Yeah, because these 4 wasn't him, but yeah. And then, from what he said, if he would have actually made it to the fight and won, like he would have had a title shot, so he's a fucking moron. But Kape has been really annoying lately, because he's been all talk, but he hasn't gotten the cage in almost a year. And the last time he was in the cage, he looked pretty bad against Felipe dos Santos, which that's aging really bad with how bad Felipe dos Santos just looked in his last fight. So, yeah, how good is Kape really? Because if you look at these wins, Ode Osborne is a good fighter, but he's a good fighter compared to ranked guys. Zhugas Zumagulov actually is terrible. He was just a funny meme. David Dvorak is terrible. Felipe dos Santos looks to be pretty bad. So, and 2 guys he lost to, Nicolau and Pantoja, sure, that's fine. 2 crazy fighters to fight in your first 2 fights. So, like, and Kape's another dude with talent. Like, he has good striking, he has good power. His cardio is questionable. I don't really remember seeing his ground game in the UFC yet. But, he has a submission on his record. He got 5, actually. So, I don't know. I think, like, Kape's talented, but he actually has to make it to the fight, and then he actually has to act like a fucking adult when he's in there, because I don't know. He needs to show something in this fight, because a lot of things have not been going good for him lately. Looking shitty here, this bullshit. It's like, come on, dude, you gotta fucking show up. If he can show up and win this fight, cool. But I don't know. He's been really annoying the past year. Leading up to this fight, everything was cool. But ever since, it's kind of just been, ugh. So, the fighter is great. The person, a little annoying. So, yeah. The betting odds for this fight have Mokaev minus 125 to plus 105. I would have to pick him. I really don't know how this fight's gonna go. Wow, Mokaev is a bigger fighter. Can Mokaev get to the ground? If not, it's either Mokaev wins on the ground or Kape probably knocks him the fuck out. So I'm intrigued. I can see it being either one. And to go to the old question, who's better where? Is Mokaev better on feet than Kape is on the ground? Probably not. Again, I really don't remember seeing Kape's ground game, but I doubt it's that bad. And if it's as bad as Mokaev's striking, then yeah, he's gonna get fucking submitted. But I really don't think it's. I doubt it's as bad because Mokaev has no striking. Like the most striking we've seen from him is that knee versus Cody Durden, and that was 3 years ago or some shit. So the dude has to show something. Will he actually fucking show improvement? Will both guys actually show something in this fight? We'll have to wait and see. I'm intrigued. I'm excited. It just should be on the main card. But who knows? Who knows? Who am I picking here? Flip a coin and pray is what I'm leaning. But I'm gonna go Mokaev, I think. I could see him getting it to the ground and keeping Kape there. I think cardio-wise, Mokaev is better. But he has to get to the ground first, which is gonna not be easy. So I could see it going either way. Like I said, I'm not confident in either one. I say just let's see what happens. Hell, they already had a fight in a fucking hotel yesterday, and it looks like Mokaev might have won. Kape was the one on the ground. So, I don't know. I'm excited for this fight. I know I'm just rambling on at this point, but I really don't know what to say about this fight. It's that good. This should be a fucking main event of a fight night. In the Apex even. This should not be on the early fucking prelims of a goddamn pretty weak card. So, but the UFC is fucking stupid. So, give me Mokaev by decision. Not confident at all. And to end the early prelims, we have our featured early prelim, going back to the welterweight division, as we have a pretty meh fight. Why is this above Mokaev? As we have Oban, the Welsh gangster Elliott, versus Preston Pressure Parsons. This is a fine fight. UFC trying to build up a prospect. See how it works out. Is this the better welterweight fight in the early prelims? Yes. Easily, so. Let's talk about Oban Elliott. Oban in UFC is 1-0, coming out of Contender Series, where he's looked like in both his in his UFC debut he beat Val Woodburn. And both his fights on Contender Series and in UFC, he's just kind of looked meh. Like, he's not been overly impressive. He's not a bad fighter. He's not a bad fighter. He just seems to be green. Like, which I guess there's worse. Like, I guess being inexperienced is worse than being shitty. But he's just kind of green as a fighter. He's not bad. He's just green. His striking kind of sucks. His ground game's where it's at. His striking is pretty terrible. Like, he's usually gonna get clipped. His striking's just not all that. And in a fight like that, like his cardio ain't great either. His fight IQ ain't great. again, mainly his grappling, which is very good. So at least he has a fucking safety blanket, but you actually gotta get to that safety blanket, and he's not that great at doing that. So again, he's not a terrible fighter. He's just an inexperienced guy. I think the kid has some potential. He's only, I think, 28 or some bullshit. 26 years old, still young to his career. I think this is good matchmaking to an extent, giving him a guy who's not good, but a pretty big step up from Val Woodburn. So we'll see how he does here. Like, he's gonna need to get to the ground. It's as simple as that. Like, he definitely has the lesser striking in this fight, the lesser experience, the lesser fight IQ, the lesser cardio, probably. He's gonna really need to get to the ground quickly and see what happens there. If he can get to the ground, if he can't, well, he's probably gonna take an L. Maybe I'm counting him out too early, but yeah, he's not the best. He's green. He's just not that. He's still not to his full potential yet. I guess that's the right way to put it. To talk about his opponent, Preston Parsons. Parsons in UFC is 2-2. His 2 wins are against Evan Elder and Matthew Semmelsberger, and his 2 losses are D-Rod and Trevin Giles. Very up and down UFC career so far for Parsons. Like, the 2 wins he has are a short notice debut, Evan Elder, and actually his best win of his career so far, and kind of his best performance, a win over Matt Semmelsberger to begin the year. That was on the Ankle Live card early in the year. So, and that was a good performance. That was definitely the best Preston Parsons we've ever seen. Because then in his 2 losses, a short notice debut against D-Rod, understandable, and then a terrible fight against Trevin Giles. Which, yeah, you could have gave him that fight either way. You had a close fight with Trevin Giles. Yeah. But, yeah, Parsons coming off the best performance of his career against Matt Semmelsberger, where he was a big underdog, if I remember. Well, pick him. But, yeah, he looked amazing in that fight. Dominated Semmelsberger en route to a W. The dude's not bad. Parsons, I feel, is getting better as a fighter. 29 years old. Again, that's the best we've seen him look in UFC. Like, even the Elder fight wasn't that great. Elevate MMA. I swear I've heard that gym before. Nope. He's not bad. Like, and pressure, that his fucking way of fighting is to tire you out. He's going to pressure you on the feet. He's going to try and get you to the. He's going to try and fucking get you to the ground. Like that's what he did to Evan Elder, from what I remember from that fight. He's fine. He's like he's a perfectly fine fighter. He's never gonna fucking shock you with anything, but he's never gonna be terrible. He's a fighter. He can beat bad fighters like Evan Elder. Well, Evan Elder and Matt Semmelsberger are not even bad wins, to be honest. Those are like decent fighters. Like, but he can beat guys. He can beat some decent names, but he can also lose to guys like a D-Rod. He should beat a Trevin Giles. He really should be on a 3-fight winning streak. I don't know why he looked so bad against Giles, but whatever. Yeah, Parsons is good, and we know what he's gonna try and do here, and it might work. He might be able to fucking gas out Oban and beat him, but at the same time, he's gonna need to stop some takedowns en route to doing that. So we'll see if he's able to do that. The betting odds for this fight have Parsons at -160 to +130. I'm a little shocked by those odds. I definitely would have thought Oban would have been the favorite here. I would have the odds either pick'em or Oban as the favorite. I would probably I'm leaning more towards a pick'em after really breaking down the fight. Let's see, what's the 6 feet, 5'11"? Okay, 72, okay. I get it. Like, Oban has shown some holes in his game that could make it seem like Parsons can win. Again, if he can gas out Oban and stop takedowns, yeah, it should be a pretty nice win for Preston Parsons. But if he can't stop those takedowns, or let's say Oban shows a new facet to his game, then we're gonna be in for an interesting fight. So it's gonna be weird. It's gonna be a weird fight. Gonna be a an interesting one, like I said, and I'm very intrigued to see what happens here. So, I'm gonna go. Who am I going with? Sorry if that was loud. I don't know if that got caught in the mic. I'm gonna go with the prospect. I'm gonna go with the unproven dude. I'm gonna go with the underdog. Give me Oban Elliott. Let's see what this kid can do. We know what Preston Parsons can do. We think. Maybe I don't think he's gonna get much better, but who knows? Let's see what Oban Elliott can do. So, give me Oban Elliott by decision. Should be a fun fight. Maybe. Should be an interesting fight. I'm excited for this fight. I think this could be a fun one, or maybe it could be a bad one. Who knows? But I'm gonna go Oban Elliott by decision. Will this pick age bad? Good possibility of that, but you never know. So give me Oban Elliott by decision. Maybe I'll regret this pick, but maybe Oban will get fraud checked. You never know. I could see it happening, but I don't know why. I'm gonna go with the prospect, the unproven guy, and see what he can do. So, Oban by decision. And those are the early prelims. Not a bad early prelim. Of course, carried by the fight that shouldn't even fucking be here, that being Kape and Mokaev. But it's fine. Parkin, Oban, Bannon and Patterson will probably suck, but Parkin, Oban could be okay fights, I guess. And then Mokaev, that'll be a banger. So, fun early prelims. Fun enough to where I talked about them for 46 fucking minutes. But don't worry, like, there's a couple fights on this card I'm not talking about, and actually the next two fit that category, so don't feel bad. So, don't think this is gonna go super long, because a lot of time's gonna be cut out, because there's a few fights I won't be talking about. So, but for the early prelims, they're okay. I just realized I went completely on the left side. So let's see if the hometown crowd gets 4 W's on early prelims like I predicted. So good early prelims. Now let's move on to the prelims. Wow, not a lot to say here. Let's get right into it. And in our first fight of the prelims, we have a garbage fight in the light heavyweight division between Modestas, the Baltic gladiator Bukauskas, versus Marcin Prachnio. No, I'm not talking about this fight. Remember what I just said about the fights I'm gonna not talk about? You're not getting me to break this garbage down. Fuck that. I'm going Modestas Bukauskas by decision. One of the worst fights I've ever fucking seen. They are both garbage. No fucking way I'm breaking this down. I have standards. Not many, but I do have them. After that, we head to our second fight of the prelims in the bantamweight division. And then our second fight of the prelims, we have Caolán the Don Loughran versus Jake Hadley. Yeah, again, no. Not for the same reason as the Bukauskas fight. This is actually not a bad fight. Probably will be a pretty fun fight, but I hate both these clowns. So, no, I'm not going to break down this fight. Again, I hate both guys. If they both fucking tore their ACLs, I would not be upset. Fuck them both. I'm going to go with Caolán Loughran. I think he's the better fighter, and he should win this. Hadley is stepping in on short notice for Roman Tavares, so that's why he is moving up a weight class. Loughran should win this fight. Better fighter. Funny enough, the shorter guy, even though he is the bantamweight. And yeah, fuck both these guys. UFC, you booked this on purpose. You booked this on purpose, you assholes. Fuck you. So, yeah. Give me Loughran by decision. I never wanted to say that, but fuck. Fuck you, UFC. After that, we head to our third fight of the prelims, our co-main of the prelims, and the a pretty usual fight you see when we're in London, as we head to women's strawweight for a not a terrible fight, to be honest. Could be pretty fun, as we have Meatball Molly McCann versus Bruna, the special one, Brasil. And your usual Molly McCann fight on a London card. Nothing we haven't seen before. Let's see if she chokes another win, and let's see if she loses another fight here, or does she actually get a win? Another one, the first time in a long time in London. I think her last win in London was Goldie, and that was like 2 years ago, so let's see if she can get another one. Let's start with Meatball Molly in this breakdown. Molly in the UFC is 7-5. She actually has a winning record? The fuck? Her wins are Cachoeira, Lipski, Bleda, Kim, Carolina, Goldie, and Belbita. Twice Belbita. And her 5 losses are Jillian Robertson, Talia Santos, Lara Frintz, Erin Blanchfield, and Julia Starenko. That Starenko fight was an L in London. So, good job. This is Molly's second fight down at strawweight. Her first was the Belbita fight, where she looked good. The best Molly has looked since the Goldie fight. She got a submission, which, is that the first submission of her career? Yes. Do I want to say she's improving as a fighter? Not yet, because I don't know how much of that was her getting better, or how much that was Diana Belbita's a fucking joke of a fighter. I'm going to lean more towards the second one at the moment, but maybe she proves me, or maybe Molly will prove me wrong. We know what we're getting with Molly. She's going to fucking run at you, try and knock you out. Very little technique involved, very little skill involved, just Molly being Molly. I actually don't hate Molly as a, like, she actually seems like a cool person, especially compared to Patty. Like, I kind of feel like she's kind of got thrown under the bus with Patty just because she's his best friend. Molly doesn't seem like a bad person. She's a terrible fighter, but she does not seem like an asshole. She's actually super likable. I think, like, I enjoyed Molly on her little fucking run in 2022. I thought that was cool that a veteran like her got that, but she's not a good fighter. Like, that's a shame. It's a shame that she's not a good fighter, because it would have been a cool story. She's a very likable person. She's fucking, and she's a terrible fighter, but she's entertaining. I'll give her that much. She's very entertaining. I would have to really think for the last Molly McCann fight that was not entertaining. So everyone that I've seen has been entertaining, so I'll give her that much. But yeah, the fighter is not very good, but she is still young, which is actually crazy. She's only 34, up at a new weight class. Seems like she might have this cut down. Second time making this weight cut. She looked fine the first time. Let's see how she does here. Pretty tough fight, pretty big step up from Diana Belbita. Let's see how she does. To talk about her opponent, definitely the lesser known fighter in this fight, Bruna, Brasil. Bruna in the UFC is 1-2. Her one win is, funny enough, Shauna Bannon, and her 2 losses are Denise Gomes and Loughran, since coming off Contender Series, were one of the best Contender Series knockouts of all time. In the UFC, she's been kind of disappointing, especially for what she did on Contender Series. Not like she's losing to good fighters. Denise Gomes and Loughran are very good fighters, 2 fighters that could easily be ranked. But, like, Bruna looks to have that talent also, just she's not shown it. Like, Denise Gomes embarrassed her and ran through her. Loughran, it's not a one-sided fight, but she did lose. So, but those are 2 good fighters. And when she fought a lesser opponent like Shauna Bannon, she lost. She won, so I don't know, Bruna is a weird fighter. She's not bad, she's just, I guess, not good enough to beat these better fighters. So, good thing she's fighting Molly McCann. Like, the best way to describe Bruna is she wants to use her reach and fight at range, because she is very lengthy for a strawweight. She's much bigger than Molly. 2 inches taller, 3.5 inches in reach. Yeah, she's much taller. She wants to fight at range. So, Molly's going to want to get on the inside and try and fight her that way, and that'll be Molly's best way of winning. Bruna wants to fight at range. Molly wants to get on the inside. Pretty basic fight. Something we've seen 1,000 times. Let's see whose game plan works better. The veteran from the hometown veteran, or the inexperienced, kinda underwhelming prospect. I'm intrigued. Should be a fun fight. Should be a really fun fight. We got 2 strikers here. I doubt it hits the ground. Maybe someone will hit the ground, but not in the grappling sense. Let's see what happens. The betting odds have Molly McCann minus 300 to plus 240. People have not learned. Don't put Molly that high of a favorite. Yeah, she's not fighting a grappler. How many submissions does Bruna have? 2. Ooh. But I would have Molly minus 210, 220. She should win. I think she is the better, I don't want to call her the better fighter, because she's not a good fighter, but I think she's the more experienced fighter by a mile. Bruna has not fought in enemy territory yet. She's gonna we'll see if she feels the pressure of that, of fighting the hometown gal, and then a fighter who's gonna get up in her face, try and fucking knock her out. I feel it might be too much for Bruna, but maybe it won't be. Maybe Bruna will be able to fight at range, and probably won't be an exciting fight, but if Bruna wins, she'll just fight at range and do her thing. So, should be interesting. Gonna be a striking match at least, and probably, knock on wood, it should be. And, who am I going with? I'm gonna go Molly. Pretty obviously, she should win. The better fighter in the sense of what's going on in this fight. Again, if Bruna is gonna be fucking, what's the right word? Fucking, I don't want to say shy, but shell-shocked? I don't think that's the right word, but just taken in by the moment of London, this, that, and the other thing. We'll see. We'll see if Molly's actually the better fighter here, so I'm gonna go Molly McCann by decision. I don't think she gets a finish. I think maybe she'll drop Bruna, but I don't know. This kind of gives me the vibes of the Luana Carolina fight, but Bruna's way better than Luana Carolina, so we'll see. I'm gonna go Molly though. I think she should win this fight, and I'm gonna go Molly by decision. So, not very much else to say. Let's see if the meatball can go, 3-1 in London in the 2020s? Let's see. And now time for our featured prelim in the featherweight division. A very fun fight. This could easily be fight of the night. These two are going to probably have a really entertaining fight. As in our featured prelim at featherweight, we have Nathaniel the Prospect Wood versus Daniel the Pit Pineda. Fun fight. 2 brawlers. Good matchmaking by the UFC. This is gonna be very fun. I'd be shocked if this wasn't a good fight. So let's break it down. Let's start with Nathaniel Wood, the London boy. In the UFC, Nathaniel is 7-3. His wins are Johnny Eduardo, Andre Ewell, Jose Quinones, John Castaneda, Charles Rosa, Charles Jourdain, and Andre Fili. His losses are John Dotson, Casey Kenny, and Muhammad Naimov. Really, he's 8-2. He did not lose to Muhammad Naimov. That should have been a fucking DQ, if anything. Nathaniel Wood's a great fighter. Dude's, super well-rounded. He's very talented. Only 30 years old. He's super fucking talented. Could easily be a top 15 dude, in my opinion. Has all the talent, too. Especially since moving up to featherweight, which is clearly his weight class. This kid's good, man. He's really good. Again, his striking's good. He has a ground game. He's just a well-rounded, really solid fighter. He took a couple years off between 2020 and 2022, but it looked like it made him the best thing for him. Came back a little older, a little more a little better, and he's looked great since. Really 4-0. Dude looked fucking talented. And to have Andre Fili and Charles Jourdain are some nice wins. You really can't. Those are some nice fucking wins. And he looked great in those fights. Those were dominations. The Charles Jourdain fight was domination. The Andre Fili fight was amazing. Like, that was literally the thumbnail of my recap for that card for a reason. Kid's good. Not really much else to say about Wood. He's just a really good, well-rounded fighter, and if he can stay active and not get screwed like the Naima fight, Duke could easily be in the rankings sooner than we know it. So, yeah, now we're good to have him back after, how long ago was the Naima fight? Close to almost a year ago. Good to have him back. And to talk about his opponent, Daniel Pineda. Pineda's kind of the same vibe as Molly, where he's not very good. His record in UFC is, is 5-6-1. His 5 wins are, actually go back fucking years. His wins are Pat Skilling, who? Mackins, not gonna try that shit. Justin Lawrence, Herbert Burns, and Tucker Lutz. His losses are Mike Brown, Antonio Cravalli, Diego Brandao, Robert Whiteford. No, I don't know half these people. Cub Swanson, Bruce Leroy, and he had a draw, a no contest with Andre Fili due to eye poke. Yeah, Pineda's kind of the same as Molly, where he's not very good. He's just a crazy fighter. Like, he has no cardio, very shit durability. He has a good ground game. Like, in round 1, he's scary on the ground, but besides that, he's pretty terrible. He's a terrible fighter. He's old, at 38 years old, my bad. Been off for over a year. He's just not good. Simplest way I could put it, he's just not a good fighter. He's an entertaining one, but he's a one-round fighter. There you go, that's how I would put it. He's a one-round fighter. He can only fight for a round. Like, he's terrible. It's simple as that. He's not even close to the fighter Nathaniel Wood is. Which, that's not a crazy statement, because Nathaniel Wood is very fucking good. Fuck, I know if he's as good as Molly. Like, yeah, maybe. At least he has a ground game. He can strike a little, so, I don't know. But either way, yeah, Pineda's a terrible fighter. He's never went to decision. Or he had, oh my god, he has 4 times. He's never won by decision. So, yes, like I said, he has no cardio, so you see why he's never won by fucking decision. So, just not good. Simple as that. He's just not fucking good. Can't really put it any other way. The betting odds for his fight have Nathaniel Wood at -500, the biggest favorite on the card. I get it. I don't disagree with it. I'd have, yeah, -500. You'd have him between 400 and 500. I don't know if I would have 500, but I get it. Wood is levels above Pineda. He's 8 years younger. He's 8 times better. He's just a better fighter, and he should win this fight pretty easily. So, I guess I get the betting odds the more I think about it. So, yeah, my Nathaniel Wood, base favorite on the card, -500. Yeah, why not? Of course I'm picking Nathaniel Wood. I'm not a fucking idiot. The only way you can pick Pineda if you think he's gonna catch Wood in a submission in the first, which that's not gonna happen. So, yeah, not very much else to say. How do I think Nathaniel Wood's gonna win this fight? I'm actually leaning a finish. I know that's something Nathaniel Wood has not really done in the UFC, only having 3 and 7 wins. But I feel like he's gonna get a finish, and I feel like he might get his first KO in the UFC. I really just think he has way better striking than Pineda. He has way better cardio than Pineda. He's just a way better fighter than Pineda. I think he might get his first finish in the UFC. Or knockout in the UFC. So, I'm trying to think. Maybe a submission. Like, he started off the UFC and his UFC career of 3 submissions, which that's really insane to think about. Knowing Nathaniel Wood, he's not really a finish guy, but he was. So, yeah. I'm trying to think how I think. I'm trying to think of how I'm gonna pick Wood to win this fight. I'm gonna go Nathaniel Wood by knockout / TKO in the, I'm trying to think, 2nd or 3rd. I'm gonna go the second, I believe. Yeah, I'm gonna go Nathaniel Wood by knockout in the second. I think he's gonna break Pineda. I'd be a little shocked if Wood didn't finish Pineda, because Pineda will be so gassed by the second, and by God, the third, that I'd be a little shocked if Wood didn't finish him. So give me Nathaniel Wood by knockout in the second. I'm leaning, maybe the third, but I'm leaning the second. Sorry. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna go with. Nathaniel Wood by knockout in the second. Let's see if he can get his first finish in years. So, and we know like Wood's gonna win. He's not getting fucking submitted. So, give me Wood by knockout in the second to close out a pretty weird prelims. So those are prelims, an hour and 6 minutes in. They're not very good. Outside of Mokaev, Oban, and Wood, and I guess Molly, they're not great. Trash, 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 garbage. Actually, that might be a fun fight, and then these two will be fun. So, few good prelims. I did not even notice I picked all fighters on the left side. I didn't even do that on purpose, but I guess should be a good night for the left side, I guess. So, but enough rambling about the prelims. Let's get into the main card, which begins we stay in the featherweight division with another very fun fight, as we have a important fight, a ranked fight in the division. Shocked to say on the early prelims with the UFC logic. As in our main card opener, staying at featherweight, we have Arnold Almighty Allen versus Giga Ninja Chikadze. What a great fight. Another fight that could easily main event any fight night. This should be a really interesting fight that I'm very excited for. So, great way to open a main card. And let's get right into it. I'm not really going to waste a lot of time talking about these guys. I feel like we all know these guys by now. So, start with Arnold Allen. Allen in the UFC is 10-2. I'm not going to go down his whole UFC career. His best wins in the UFC are Makwan Americani, Gilbert Melendez, Nick Lentz, Sadiq Youssef, Dan Hooker, Calvin Kattar, and his only losses are to Max Holloway and Mansour Evloev, which are two really, really good fighters to lose to. So, and most people think he beat Evloev. So, Allen's a great fighter. We all know that. But I feel like we've learned he's not good enough to be like the top caliber in the division. Like, and that's not a fucking insult when you got Ilya and fucking Max and Volk running around. But he's a good fucking B tier guy with Yair, fucking Giga, of course, Diego Lopez, etc., etc. So, like, we know what he's doing. He's a good boxer. A little bit of power in his hands, not crazy, and ground game's there. Good cardio. So, we know again Arnold around. He's a very solid fighter. We've all seen him fight before. He's maybe the most exciting because he's not really a finish artist. Like, we know, like, yeah, he finished Dan Hooker, but before that, he got 4 decisions in a row. So, he's not the most exciting fighter, but he's good. He is very good. We see why he is a fucking top guy in the division. Has been for a long time. So, he's just a solid fucking fighter. Simple as that. So, yeah, and do I need to break down Arnold Allen to anyone? No. To talk about his opponent, Giga Chikadze. Giga in the UFC is 8-1. His 8 wins are Brennan Davis, Jamal Emmers, Erwin Rivera, Omar Morales, Jamie Simmons, Cub Swanson, Edson Barboza, and Alex Casares. His 1 loss is to Calvin Kattar. We've all seen that fight. Giga's a weird case, because he was like the fucking hyped up dude in division, going into Cater fight, and then he got fucking annihilated by Cater so badly he took a 1.5 years off. He comes back against Caceres, which I feel like most people don't even fucking know happened, and he looked okay. I'll give him a break since that was his first fight since a bad beating, and against a very good fighter like Caceres, it's understandable. So now the rust has been knocked off, even if he has been off for another fucking year. And yeah, we know we're getting with Giga, dude with amazing kicking game. He has actually like weird power in his hands. Like if you watch the Edson fight, you see he actually has really good power in his hands. But he does have a couple flaws. Of course, his cardio does not seem to be great. His ground game, we've really not seen. I'm trying to think who's really taking him down. Cater, and that's about it from what I remember. He wants to fight at range. It's kind of like fucking the same thing I said Bruna Brasil. He wants to fight at range and use his kicks. Like we know Giga has the fucking Giga kick, that beautiful body kick to the liver, leg kicks, head kicks. He's a really good kicker. But he is 35 years old, not fighting in about a year, another year break, and coming back against a dude like Arnold Allen. Not sure how well that can go. But you never know, man. You never know. Crazy thing about this fight like 2 years ago. Like this fight 2 years ago would have been fucking insanely hyped up. Even right now it's still insanely hyped up, but just think about how it would have been 2 years ago. Crazy. Well, yeah, we know we're getting with Giga, so simple. The betting answer, so I have Arnold Allen minus 260 to plus 210. I don't agree. I think that's a little crazy. I would have Allen probably like minus 140, 150 at most. Like, I get it. Like, who has looked better lately? Who's fought better competition? Yada, yada, yada. Who beat Calvin Kattar? But I don't know why. I just have this weird feeling this fight might be closer than expected. If not, even maybe an upset will happen. Like, Arnold Allen's very good. Arnold Allen's very good. But Giga is also good. Like, I know most people just think of Giga for that fucking ass whooping he took against goddamn Kattar. But he's done more than that in his career. Yeah, this fight's gonna be a great way to open the main card, by the way. What a great way to open the main card, but I don't know, I think it could be a lot closer than people think. Could Allen just dominate Giga, get it on the inside, maybe take him down? Of course. But I don't know, I think Giga might look a lot better than people think. Maybe he might not even win, but I feel like Giga's gonna make this a lot closer of a fight than people are trying to act. So, I feel like people are forgetting who Giga is. I can see they're seeing a 35-year-old off another year break who got killed by Calvin Kattar, and they're like, oh yeah, against a guy like Arnold Allen who is very respected because he is very good. So, I don't know. Great fight. Great matchmaking. Great, again, amazing main card opener. And I can't wait. Who am I going with? Give me the underdog. I don't know why I have it's literally not even like an educated pick. It's just a weird feeling. I just feel like Giga can win this. And might win this. Use your kicks, stay at range, bag the first 2 rounds, don't get finished in the third, get a win. I could see it, man. I could see it. I think that's what I'm gonna go with. A Giga Chikadze decision. Just a weird feeling. Ever since when the week started and I first looked at this fight, I just kind of was like, Giga might win this. I'm gonna go Giga, man. I don't know why. As of right now, I'm leaning Giga. The weird fucking feeling. Should you go off weird hunches? No. But I'm going to, because I do picks for fun, and I'm like, fuck it, why not? Give me Giga Chikadze by decision. I don't know why. I really don't. Is he the better fighter? Not really. Is he the more well-rounded fighter? No. But I just have a weird feeling. Let's see if that weird feeling gonna make me look smart or stupid. Give me Giga Chikadze by decision. Pure fucking hunch. Lucky fucking hunch, I guess. After that, we head to our second fight of the main card in the middleweight division. A banger that is 100% not going 15 minutes. As we have a banger between CLD, Christian, Leroy, Duncan versus Violent Obama, Gregory, RoboCop, Rodriguez. This is not going 15 minutes. I can almost guarantee you that. like, I get why this is on the main card. It's gonna be a great fight, but again, as I brought up earlier, how the fuck is this on the main card over Mokaev and Kape? Is Mokaev and Kape the better fight overall? No. But for importance and how big the fight is, yes, it is better, so whatever. At least we're gonna get a finish on the main card. Well, one of a few finishes on the main card, so let's sit back, relax, enjoy it, and break it down. Let's begin with COD. COD in UFC, that rhymed, is 3-1. His 3 wins are Dusko Todorovic, Denis Tulian, and Claudio Hidero. His 1 loss is to Armen Petrosyan. Yeah, he already got fraud checked by Petrosyan, which is not a good fighter to get fraud checked by. And he's beat 2 cans. I'm not even going to count the Dusko fight, because if you remember, that was an Aspinall blade situation where he just blew out his knee. So, are we really going to count that? No. Like, COD has a fun fighting style. Like, he throws crazy kicks, he usually gets finishes, but he's not that good, from what I've seen. Like, yeah, you beat Denis Tulian and Claudio Hibero. Wow, you lost it. You got embarrassed by Armen Petrosyan. I don't know, like, COD could really shut me up here. If he beats Gregory Rodriguez, I'll give him all the respect. But until then, I still look at him. He can leave the fraud club Saturday night. If he beats RoboCop, he's out the fraud club. But until then, he's a fraud still. You keep Armen Petrosyan, dude, who's fucking I think he just lost to Cody Brundage or some bullshit. Like, I know or was Rodolfo Vieira, my bad. It's like, dude, he's fucking awful, and COD looked awful in that fight. He gassed himself out throwing stupid kicks. Like, calm down, Michel Pereira. Like, fuck. So, the kid can really shut me up Saturday night with a win, but I don't know. He's a well-rounded dude. Ground game, striking, cardio sucks, but gotta stop throwing stupid kicks, bro. Prove me wrong. To talk about his opponent, Gregory Rodriguez. Rodriguez in the UFC is 6-2. Could easily be 7-1. His wins are, let me do that. His wins are Dusko Todorovic. Funny enough, they both debuted against them. Jung Young Park, Julian Marquez, Chidi Njokuani, Denis Tulian, and Brad Tavares. His 2 losses are Armen Petrosyan and Bruno Ferreira. I think that Petrosyan fight was a robbery, but he could easily be 7-1, and he's looked great in the UFC. Like, outside the Petrosyan fight, outside the Ferreira fight, his worst performance in the UFC was what? Todorovic because he didn't get a finish, or Chidi because he lost a piece of his fucking forehead. Like, Greg Rodriguez is actually a really good fighter. And it seems like he's getting more well-rounded since the Ferreira loss. It seems like he's kind of implementing a ground game more. Like, he TKO'd Tulian, and then he went deep into the fight with Tavares. So, he's a good fighter, man. He easily could be a top 15 dude. He has good striking, he has the cardio, he has the durability, he has the fucking ground game. He's a really good fighter, and he's going to be a really hard test for COD. And he's actually subbing in on short notice for, I think, Robert Brychek, if I'm correct. So, this could be a really big feather in his cap. If he can get this win and knock off COD in London on pay-per-view, he could easily get a ranking fight next. He already should have got one. He could easily be fighting a Chris Curtis or fucking Roman Dolidze. But, win here. But gotta get the win here first, and if he does, you gotta give him that fucking ranking fight, in my opinion. 3 in a row, and if he does finish COD, bro, RoboCop's a problem. But, gotta do it first, so, see what happens. The betting odds for his fight are pretty much a pick'em. I looked at them earlier, I think maybe COD is a small favorite or whatever, I don't remember, but I should say these should be a pick'em. As you know, I know COD is a small favorite. I think should be a pick'em. I think whoever lands the KO blow first, Like a couple factors in this fight. Who goes for a wrestling ground? Which guy does a wrestling game plan, if either has one. If the fight goes deep, who does it favor? I think RoboCop pretty easily. And who, like, COD's never fought a guy like RoboCop, so we really don't know how he does against adversity. Or we don't know how he takes a punch, how he does when he's hurt, etc., etc. So we know how RoboCop does when he's hurt. He either gets knocked out or he fights back. We've not seen COD in any situation like that. I had down his whole career even, so gonna be an interesting fight. It's gonna be a great fight, and like I said, I think there's a slim to none chance this goes 15 minutes, so it should be fun. Who am I going with in this fight? I'm leaning RoboCop. It's hard to pick COD here. He's unproven. He's already been fraud checked by a way worse opponent. And I don't know how he's going to do against a guy like RoboCop who's going to try and break him. So, give me RoboCop. I think he's the better fighter. He's the veteran in this fight. He's been in wars more than COD has. He's been in these bright spotlights. This is COD's first pay-per-view. Like, I don't think RoboCop has ever been on pay-per-view, but he's been like co-mains of fight nights and shit. Give me RoboCop. So I'm gonna go RoboCop by knockout in the, I think, second. I think he's gonna try and break COD, and I think he might do a good fucking job of doing that. So second or third round finish for Robo, maybe in the first, because when he connects and hurts COD, that will be a lot. That will either be when the fight's over or when, who knows what happens. That maybe COD will show he can recover really well. So, but until I see it, I'm gonna go RoboCop by knockout in the second. Better fighter, better cardio, more experienced, more heart, probably. Let's see what happens. I'm gonna go RoboCop Rodriguez by knockout in the second. This ain't going 15 minutes. After that, we head to our co-main of the evening, a fun fight, and it's gonna be a great fight because this fucking clown's gonna get his ass beat. As our co-main event of the evening, we head to lightweight for a fucking such a great fight between King Green, and that's his name now, versus Paddy the Baddy Pimblett. Not gonna waste a lot of time here. Do I need to say much? Bobby Green's going to smoke this kid. This is like, this kid's getting exposed. What did Aljo say about O'Malley? I want to expose this. He's getting exposed. Bobby Green's exposing this guy. This is time for Paddy to sink or swim, and this moron's gonna sink. He's not good. Like, this dude's fucking awful. Like, can we not lie to ourselves anymore? This dude's a joke. Like, he looked shitty versus Tony. He lost to Jared Gordon. This dude can't fight. His striking sucks. His fucking cool. He has good ground game. I'll give him that much. He can't do much else. He's a terrible fighter. And he's getting exposed Saturday night by Bobby Green. But Bobby Green's been knocked out. Bobby Green's fucking old. Dude, Bobby Green could be 37 or 67. He's still better than Paddy Pimblett. Paddy has no talent outside a little bit of grappling. Ooh. Bobby Green's going to smoke this kid easily, without a fucking shadow of a doubt. Like, Bobby Green's only minus 125, he should be minus fucking 400. He's going to win this fight. I don't know. And I'll say this right now. If Paddy proves me wrong and actually wins, I'm not counting a fucking robbery or some bullshit. If Paddy Pimblett actually wins this fight, proves me wrong, I'll give the kid his flowers. But until that happens, which it ain't, this kid's gonna get fucking annihilated. So, give me Bobby Green I'm feeling another knockout in a second. I think he's gonna fucking smash this kid. And we know Paddy has no chin. We know he leaves it up in the air. We know Bobby Green's a great striker. Give me Bobby Green by knockout in a second. I think he's gonna break this kid. And he's gonna expose him and end this garbage with this clown, which should have been ended 2 years ago when he lost to Jared Gordon. So, Give me Bobby Green by knockout in the second. He's the better fighter by a mile, and he's gonna expose this moron. Sorry, Dana, I ain't winning this time, buddy. Bobby Green, knockout in a second. And now, time for the main event of the evening. A rematch in the heavyweight division for the undisputed UFC Heavyweight Championship of the world. We have in our main event of UFC 304 a rematch between Tom Aspinall versus Curtis Razor Blades. All I gotta say is, and still. There ain't gonna be a fluke injury this time. That does not count. Tom Aspinall is going to show why he is the best heavyweight in the world, why he is the heavyweight division, and why John Jones is ducking him. Tom Aspinall should win this pretty easily. I don't know how he loses outside of Blades just getting takedowns consistently, but A, will Blades even fucking shoot those takedowns? No. And B, will Blades get those takedowns if he does shoot them? No. So, yeah, this should be a pretty easy win for Tommy. Great main event. Great main event to UFC 304. The heavyweight division's finally moving again, which is amazing to see, thanks to Tom Aspinall. The bad thing, who the fuck is he gonna fight after this? Probably the winner of Gone Volkov, which is cool. But, yeah, it's good to see heavyweight moving again. Finally, we could forget about those two old wash dudes no one cares about, and we can look to the future, and the future is Tommy Aspinall at minus 400, as he should be. Could he even be minus 500? Dude's gonna win easily. He's the better fighter. He is the best fighter at heavyweight, which I know is not a fucking high accomplishment, but still. And you're gonna hear, and still, UFC heavyweight champion of the world, Tommy Aspinall. I'm gonna say Aspinall by knockout in the first to rewrite the wrong of that fluke injury 2 years ago. Same thing O'Malley did with Cheeto, and we're gonna see who the best heavyweight in the world is, and it's Tom Aspinall. Sorry, Blades, you can only hold on to that pretend win for so long. It's over now. And still, and boom, that's the card to go over my picks one more time. Shauna Bannon by decision. Mick Parkin, my lock of the night, by decision. Sam Patterson by decision. Mokaev by decision. Oban Elliott by decision. Modestas Bukauskas by decision. Yes, I picked a lot of decisions. This card sucks. Caolán Loughran by decision. McCann by decision. Nathaniel Wood by knockout in the second. Giga by decision. Gregory Rodriguez by knockout in the second. Bobby Green by knockout in the second. And Tom Aspinall by knockout in the first. Bang. Finally, after almost an hour and a half, that's the card. Thankfully I did skip these two garbage fights. I didn't waste the breath it would take to talk about them, so. UFC 304, is it good or is it bad? It's fine. Few good fights on it. Mokaev and Kape stand out because they're on the prelims for no reason. And then the final 5 fights of the night are fucking great. Nathaniel Wood should be a banger. Giga should be a banger. COD should be a banger. Bobby Green should be fucking great. Tom Aspinall went the night on a fucking high note. Gonna be a great card. When it comes to the end of it, it's gonna be the middle of it that's gonna be a fucking pain to get through. Maybe a couple fights shock us. Maybe Sam Patterson will have a good fight. Shauna Bannon could be a good fight. Bukauskas. I think this will actually probably be a good fight. This could be a good fight. The 3 will suck, and this will suck. But you never know, man. We've seen prelims outdo themselves before. We've seen cards outdo themselves before, and in a fucking crazy London crowd, you never know what's gonna happen. So let's get ready for another pay-per-view night. in London, and let's sit back, relax, enjoy it. As yeah, next time you'll hear me recapping it Sunday. Sunday. Not gonna make a time promise, but Sunday. Yeah. Not really much else to say. I'm trying to think of anything else to say, but I'm pretty much out of words at this point. So I've talked for an hour and a half. So let's finish this off already. So unless I'm going to say something, you'll hear from me again Sunday for the recap. And as always, please like, comment, subscribe. 100 subs goal by the end of the year. I hope you enjoyed the video. And unless I'm forgetting to say something, as always, RX out. Good vibes only, and always.